I am not an African because I was born in Africa, but because Africa was born in me. These were the words of Sergeant Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. This is GCL Tutorials and you are welcome. Join me as I discuss the greatest African who ever lived on this continent. Yes, a lot have said that the spirit of Nkrumah never dies. Generations will come and go, but then we will live to declare and talk about Nkrumah because the legacy of Nkrumah speaks ever and ever and can never be wiped out. In my opinion, it is a spirit that holds us together because we have seen a lot of leaders after Ghana gained independence, but then we will keep talking about Nkrumah because of his achievements and his mindset for this African continent, particularly this country called Ghana. Now, after so many arguments and public comments concerning the Founders' Day and all the Pula Balu and Brouhaha, a lot of people decided to push for the Founders' Day to be celebrated. We spoke about the 4th August as one of the statutory holidays, as I did one of my videos. You can check that. Now, the 21st of September had been set aside. Had to be set aside because he had to also celebrate Nkrumah as one of the greatest leaders that we ever had. Indeed, his achievements cannot be underestimated, and I focus on that in this particular video. Regarding his personal life, Nkrumah was born on the 21st of September 1909 in a small town in Krofo in the Western region. So he started his education. He went to a Catholic school. His dad, Openyi Kofi Nwiana, after 8 days of Nkrumah's birth. So Openyi, his father, gave him the name Francis Nwia Kofi. But it was said that when he got to the school, we had the missionary schools, and the Catholic school was one of the missionary schools, and most of these whites couldn't pronounce our local names properly. So the Ngoloma was what the white priest couldn't pronounce well, and it became Nkrumah. Because when you check our history, you realize that most of our local names were Europeanized, and the people couldn't mention them. So a lot of traditional local names changed. Like Kwesi Tabu Sunfe, we had to could be changed as Quincy Arthur Bosonfield. You see, so it should tell you that a lot of people who went to the white schools or the missionary schools had their names changed and even their spellings. So that is what happened to Nkrumah's name. So Nkrumah had to maintain Francis Nkrumah, and he added the Kwame, so it became Kwame Nkrumah. Now from the Catholic school, he continued to Achimota School, and Achimota School is one of the popular senior high schools in Ghana. From there, he went to the University of Pennsylvania, so he schooled there, did some courses. He was a trained teacher, and he went to the University of Lincoln as well, did some master's degree in even theology. Now, when he moved to the UK, he was a young, brilliant guy. So he decided to speak with a lot of like-minded people, Africans, of course, talking about the cause of development and what they can also do to push the agenda and make Africa one of the greatest continents. And that is to rescue it from the hands of the colonial masters. So the ideology was there. Nkrumah had that vision, and he was so passionate about it. So you might have heard about he championing the cause of the Pan-Africanism. That was where he became very, very popular. He's coming back to the Gold Coast, where some may consider it as fortunate or unfortunate, but then he was invited by the leaders of the UGCC, Akosombo. So when he joined the party, they made him general secretary. In 1947, he joined the party, and he was with the party for a while because they had some misunderstanding. He left the party June 11 and then formed his own party on the 12th of June. That was the Convention People's Party. Now, with a political agenda, I spoke about a lot in my previous videos, but then he pushed, put pressure on the whites, even when the UGCC couldn't stand strong to push the agenda of independence. But then Nkrumah did his best, declaring the positive action in 1950, and then after the 1951 election, his party winning more seats in the National or the Legislative Assembly. Then he became leader of government business. Because of that platform given to him, he was playing a role as a prime minister. That's why he's being regarded as the first prime minister of the Gold Coast. So he moved from there. 1954, same thing happened. He was a strong leader in government business. Then 1957, when we gained independence, the Queen was still the head of state. So he was the head of government. He started putting his agenda across and his motive behind self-rule, self-government. He spoke about imperialism. Those systems seemed to capture the entire African continent. And he was passionate about it. He was trying to push or influence other great African leaders to also take the cause and speak up so they can also have one fight against colonialism. So the dream did not die. He became the first president of the republic. And when Ghana gained the republic on the 1st of July, yes, there was a 27th April election in 1960. So Nkrumah was chosen as the president. the first president. And when he won that election, a new constitution was introduced as the first Republican constitution. And looking at his regime from 1960 to 66, a lot of people have criticized the political system he used. They talked about him as a dictator and all those things. But then I am interested in what he did, his mindset, his ideas. So I'm going to make a list or mention some of the things he did infrastructure wise. When you look at education, you look at industry or the industrial sector, you look at agriculture sector, you look at services, and even health. So no one should make the mistake. I think we shouldn't even try to make any form of comparison. Indeed, those who came after him, we had a lot of military rulers coming after him. Kotoka and Co came, Ankara and Co did the coup. Now we had people like Echampo. Echampo had some great policies and great ideas. So you see, all the leaders had their flaws. All the leaders had things that they had their failures, things that did not go well with them. But then let's look at, we need to weigh all of them and see their vision, their ideas, and see the passion, the things they were able to do or put together. I think when we make that comparison, which I don't want to make, but Nkrumah stands tall when it comes to all of them. Why haven't we made any progress or established tangible infrastructure or established a high level and advanced infrastructure as compared to what happened during Nkrumah's time? You see, so you can just juxtapose the governments that came after him and his government and look at the legacy and the vision of the man. Let's first talk about education. Well, look at the schools. Most of the schools that we attended that they named Ghana schools, most of those schools were established by Nkrumah. It was Nkrumah's idea. And when you look at the universities, University of Cape Coast, yes, Ghana National College, Cape Coast, the Infantiman School, Winneba Secondary, Apam Secondary, Swedru Secondary, Fosu Training College, Ofori Penny, Techiman, Doma, Tema Secondary, Odan, Laboni, Kwadaso, Atebu, Bubrekum, Enchi Training. All these are colleges and high schools, you see. I haven't even come to the basic schools. Now let's look at it. Send the University College of Gold Coast into the University of Ghana. Now Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Tech. Institute of African Studies, Kwame Nkrumah Institute of Economics. We can talk about the Technical Institute, Accra Poly, Komfo Teaching Hospital. We have entered the health. So a lot of them. The industrial sector, we talk about Aboso Glass Factory, Zuarungu Meat Factory, Wenchi Tomato Factory. We have Kumasi Shoe Factory, Akosombo Textile Limited. A lot of them, you see. So they are there. Bogatanga Meat Processing, Bank of Ghana, Ghana Commercial Bank, Agricultural Bank, National Investment Bank, State Insurance Company, SIC, SNIT, yeah, Social Security and National Insurance Trust, Ghana Oil Company, GOIL, Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority, the Tema community itself, you see, the Tema, the plans put together, okay, to make Tema what Tema is now we are seeing with the communities. And we haven't seen any advancement. All the heads of state that came after them, well, if they have seen, they can also publish. So we know Ghana Film Industry, Ghana Airways Corporation, Ghana National Trading, Cocoa Marketing Board, Tema Steel Works, you see. State housing and project, they asked for the housing and project. Some were mismanaged, and then we didn't know what went on. Kanda Estate, Osu Highway, Osu Ringway, Airport Residential Area, Patasi Estate, Kwadaso Estate, Bukrom Estate, North and South, Santreso, Tema Township. I just spoke about the Tema Township. Star Hotel, Meridian Hotel, Ambassador Hotel. So you can look at all these. The Continental Hotel that has now become the Golden Tulip. That is also an achievement, you see. So in 6 years, this man was able to do this, all these things. Now, when you look at people have ruled for 8 years and even more. We have political parties now that we claim there is democracy, we are enjoying the peace. And Ghana is described as the beacon of democracy. We bear all these names and then we enjoy being described as such. There's no problem with that. But then if we have all these conditions, then we should be able to be at the level that countries like Singapore, Malaysia, and those countries are now, as we speak, South Korea. Because when you compare those countries, the time we had in the past was different. That era was different. And those countries were nowhere. But today, they are the top giants when it comes to infrastructure and we come to development. But where is Ghana now? This was just one person. And I said that, thinking about it, this was a professional teacher. This was a professional teacher. So imagine he had the degrees that most of our ministers today had. See, most of our ministers, some have degree in what, masters in law, this in this in that. They have read political science, they have read all the books. Every day speaking big English, and nothing is same. Almost all their ideas are on paper, but in reality, we can't actually see them. Then we kill our own leaders, we kill our own people. There was even within that 6 years before he died, and he claimed he suffered cancer and he died in Romania. That 6 years of his regime, there was assassination attack on him. Remember the 1962 one when he was coming from Burkina Faso, that's Upper Volta, and he got to Kulungungu, the bomb attack. Then the Flagstaff House one where the place was invaded. So it is clear a lot of people are regretting that this man was disliked or hated by some people, looking at what he intended, the plans he had. I am not saying that he was a perfect person or he was so holy, but then if someone has all these ideas, why can't we just support and push the person? No government is perfect. But look at what is happening in Rwanda as we speak. The president had a lot of criticisms, but then people are okay. See what he has turned the country into. That country has suffered from a lot of tribal conflict and civil war. But see Rwanda today. It's a country where everybody wants to be in. And the people are going there. We have Ghanaians going there, Ghanaian journalists. People are going there to study and know what is working in Rwanda. But the fact is, are we ready to accept it? That's the whole thing here. In Ghana, we should be the country that a lot of people, a lot of nations will be learning from. Nkrumah's dream had to end that way. And I keep telling myself that maybe things are not working because he cares Ghana, he cares the nation. Yes, and I would have done that because the pain alone, with all these ideas and the vision I have for the country, if these people could betray me in that manner, why not? He didn't even die here. When after the coup, he had to go and stay in Guinea for some time, be a co-president over there. And when he suffered an illness, he died in 1972. At the time, we had a champion here as the head of state. And it was reported that he didn't want his body to be brought to Ghana to even buried. And letters had to be written by a champion to the Guinea government for his body to be sent back. And Secretary had to finally decide to let the body be brought to Ghana to be buried. Nkrumah married Helena Rates, Fatia Nkrumah. So he lived with her and they had Samia Nkrumah, Gamal Nkrumah, and Sekou Nkrumah. Yes, so if today we have set aside the 21st of September to be celebrating him, we have to cast our mind back and look at all his achievements, look at the legacy he left. And as we always say, Nkrumah never dies. The spirit of Nkrumah shall continue to live. So in the spirit of Sekou Touré, the spirit of Emperor Haile Selassie, in the spirit of Julius Kambaraga Nwaliwe Nyerere, in the spirit of Patrice Lumumba, in the spirit of Muammar Gaddafi, all these great people, we say, long live Africa, and we pray that our leaders will have a renewal of mind, renewal of heart to push this continent to the level where these former leaders had wanted it to be. And thanks for watching GCL Tutorials. Subscribe, like, put your comments in the comment section. These are my opinions, and you're also entitled to your opinions. Thank you for watching. See you again. Bye.